There are always going to be challenges. You and I were talking about this last night, resilience. And this is, One2Gration, that's one of the key themes. I'm an artist as well. And so when I had this practice of creating daily for 4 years. And what that shows is that resilience of being able to say, regardless of the challenge, regardless of the dark, regardless of the things that happen that may seem unfair, if that happened, it was meant to happen for me, for the betterment of me. And even when I don't see it and I don't feel it, I know it. And so, this theme of resilience is something that I definitely want to make sure that, as we tell our stories and we share the way that, we as One2Gration support others that may be a victim or they may just be needing resources. We're able to be somewhat of a guide towards the right resource if it's not us. And so resilience is a key thing that I think that I want to make sure that I highlight for our audience. Welcome to One2Gration Today. I am Jeff McKinney, CEO and founder of One2Gration, and this is Welcome. This has been a long time coming. We've talked about it. We worked, diligently, even in the darkest of times. And so I'm really, really excited in this moment, living this piece of the vision. I do think that it's best that we start off giving the opportunity to our community to have you take the stage and tell us a bit more about what do we mean by community CMO, and why would you accept an opportunity to play that role for our community?
So the best way I would describe community CMO is let's start back to me and Jeff probably met around what I think is about 8 months now, Jeff. And one of the things that really stuck to me is the idea of One2Gration and what the purpose behind One2Gration was. And that's what I aligned with. And I saw it as an opportunity to be able to work alongside him and help build out the overall marketing strategy, which is what a CMO actually does. It helps with the overall marketing strategy. But I also saw this as an opportunity to be able to support other businesses as well, like an actual platform that can be set up in a way to provide resources across the board. So for me, a community CMO is just that, a CMO that is available to the community to provide insight, tips, marketing, other types of stuff that we can all be better.
Fantastic. So, I would say, when I first encountered in that moment when we met, I overheard you saying in another kind of intro meeting with someone else about how you had managed multiple strategies at once. And the way that you described it, because of the way that I view our community, as everyone should be able to be a small business or whatever their purpose is, and whatever EIN, personal identification, or tax exempt number, or whatever it is, people should have that opportunity. And when they choose that, they're going to need a team. And I knew that we were going to need a team because as I started to build One2Gration, I found that I needed a team. And it was very, very difficult to know who to choose and why, and whether or not that person was able to add value to what I was trying to bring forward. Now, that was 4.5 years ago when we started that. And just imagine how exponentially exacerbated this issue has become with the AI and the different conversations around automation. The one thing that we are here to say with One2Gration Today is that by demonstrating the importance of authenticity and human connection, we can actually deliver alongside of AI a real outcome.
Let me kind of add to that too, because I think that's really important. Like one of the things you touched on is authenticity, and coming from like the marketing space, you would think that some people believe that with all this AI and everything coming in, that need for authenticity has went away. No, it has intensified that need for authenticity, right? So when you're looking at companies and individuals that are trying to brand themselves, what's most important is that being the present, because there's still a trust factor. People want to engage and connect with people they can trust with, and that comes from that. And to your point, Jeff, there's a lot going on in this space, but authenticity is still really, really
when
important.
I was thinking about how do we make sure that we can create a place where there was all different types of resources available for me. I'd spent 20 years in corporate America, I think, doing good work. I got a track record of having some success. It wasn't always perfect. And then reaching a point to where my body, due to the challenges of the workplace, it just didn't feel very good. I wasn't at my best to be able to go out in that form and succeed. And so when I thought about what the future looked like, I could see a time where there would be a movement of people that would say, I want to explore entrepreneurship. There would be a time where people would say, I want to own my professional footprint in a way that allows for me to continue no matter where I sit and what email aliases I have. I want to take a non-traditional, more modernized approach to engaging and managing my network. These are things that we saw traditionally inside of marketing operations in corporations, but we never saw individuals think about them for themselves. When I started to pursue entrepreneurship, the consultants that were coming to me were not bringing these types of tools and this type of know-how. And so, I do think that if I would have had this vision that I have now, the know-how I have now, it wouldn't take the same amount of time to get here. And so that's kind of the point of it. And so we want to make sure that we offer that same type of know-how to those of you who would like to be around purpose-driven entrepreneurs, thought leaders, community members, purpose-driven people, to have those types of resources. That's really what One2Gration is about.
And I think this is a good opportunity, Jeff, for us to kind of like highlight, take everybody to the website so they can see, because I feel like it's so much more than that, right? I really feel like one of the aspects of that that you're talking about is really that elevation of self piece. And even within what you're talking about, it goes beyond just helping you, with your entrepreneurial journey, to helping you with, just support in mental health and other areas as well. But I would think that's some of the elements where we come in and say One2Gration is a community and a space for those that want to elevate self and grow in their own purpose by aligning with other people that are already living in their purpose or trying to grow in their
I would
purpose as
say
well.
absolutely 100%. When it comes to the elevation of self topics and aspects and services, social services that we offer, these things are near and dear to my healing. And so I have not completely finished that journey. I don't know that I ever will. So I have to tiptoe around, thoughts or triggers that I may have. But what I will say is ultimately, we are responsible for our own well being. And there are all types of distractions out there and all types of interactions that over time cause for people to look externally for validation that only they could give themselves. And so, this elevation of self is about reincorporating that as an option to those who decide that it's okay for me to think very favorably of myself, and it's okay for me to be imperfect at the same time. And it's okay for you over there not to like me. It's fine, because as I said on the One2Gration Media podcast, the Spirit of Gratitude, Yoga Nation, not every space is for you. And we're going to have those stories to share. I've said it, it was something that I was asked in one of my last pleas for help when I worked for Dell Technologies. I had a coworker that said, "Jeff, what are you going to do?" And I didn't know what I was going to do, but I did know that it was not my job to go and not win and become a hero in the story. And so
Yeah.
I simply quoted Terrell Owens, and I told him to get your popcorn ready. And so it's one of the reasons why it's so I don't even know the right words to see One2Gration today in this way, to see One2Gration this way. And I would tell you guys that without our community CMO, we wouldn't be here. So elevation of self is about being able to reach your higher self so that you can actually pursue your purpose, whatever that is. And when met with challenges, we have the right resources to make sure that you're not feeling alone, and we can actually quickly get back on track.
Well, I think that the one thing I want to move to now then is really something that's near and dear to my heart, which is your amplify your impact. And I think elevation of self is so important because that's really that individual journey that so many of us go on. And then amplify your impact is like a whole other area, right? This is where I look at it as support of business resources. Well, another thing I think is like, and now that you really touched on elevation itself, I really think this is a good opportunity for us to touch on amplify your impact, because One2Gration is so much more, than what you will find in a lot of other communities. And because we do more than just the platform for self, we also support businesses and those that are on a path of growth. And that's where you have that amplify of your impact. Me being someone who is on the marketing and business space, and with my background of like 20 years working with larger corporations like Boeing and other companies like that, one of the things that I've identified is that you have to have the resources as an entrepreneur. And those resources aren't available to many of your small, mid-size, or companies that are starting off that you would have available if you were much larger scale. And so how we've come in with One2Gration to offer those services, I think is amazing. And those services go beyond just what you would think your standard marketing services would be, to business strategies, to finance, to technology, which is a huge piece of it, as well as providing resources to what we consider our community catalysts. And that is, I think, one of the most important aspects of One2Gration, is knowing that you'll have access to other people who have been successful in their space and successful in their area, and that these people are willing to share their information with you. And I think that's a powerful thing, is that One2Gration is set up for those that have the ability to educate and teach and are willing to do that. And then now that we can bring these, those that are ready to elevate from a self perspective and tie those two together to build a community of growth across the board. And I think that's a really important thing. And another thing I love about Amplify Impact, it goes beyond just those things to podcasting, events, thought leadership, which is huge. So those are just all the things that I love,
Yeah,
Jeff,
I would
about
only
what we're
thing I
trying
would
to do
change
here.
is the word trying.
Oh, yes, I agree. What we are doing here, words are powerful. So, we are already doing that. We're already seeing the impact of that. We're already seeing how people are coming in and resonating with this. So you're right. It's not trying. We are doing it, and we're doing it, and we're making strides.
One of
And we're going
the
to
things
continue to
about
make
the
strides.
Amplify Impact that I'll point out, just to kind of show that we're actually doing this, is that we will start next week inviting our clients and community catalysts on to share kind of what are they doing with their purpose, and what is their business objectives, and who are they looking to associate with and connect with. One of the things that we want to address with this Amplify Impact is the shenanigans that are taking place inside of the algorithm. And so, I, in my free time where I'm not the CEO and founder of One2Gration in front of a camera, I typically call myself Tech P, and Tech P is an artist that thinks about the challenges that are in front of us. And one of those is what I would call social media. And so I always like to pull out this notebook. You can't read it, but on this notebook it says the not Facebook, and I wrote that with a list of attributes back in 2011. And so now here we are, and we can see just as clear as day that there are some trust and integrity issues inside of that algorithm. And so, we are now looking at the way that these algorithms are aligning. And I could even, we're going to have these deeper conversations to talk about this on One2Gration Today. Specifically, if you look at how social media platforms and algorithms function and what are the implications to, let's just say, for instance, a profile with 0 followers versus a profile that you see that has 16.1 million followers. What do you think about those two different profiles? What would you think if you found out that Zuckerberg just assigned 16.1 million people to a profile? We could either try to play in that game, or we could actually build a strategy that says, okay, great, social media is a tool, it's a vehicle, but it's not the highway, it's not the super highway, it's not going to be our answer. We're not going to be having our dependency on business people who lack integrity. We can ignore that for only so long. And so here with One2Gration and amplifying your impact, one of the things we will say is, when you decide to amplify your impact, you can be seen in the light. And when you are seen in the light, there's great things that come from that, because over there, certain things don't make sense and they're just hard to figure out, and they'll just keep moving the ball. And so instead of trying to figure out the algorithm, why don't we just say, you know what, that's just a tool. Let's come up with this other strategy over here. Let's go amplify our impact through One2Gration. Let's be able to measure our results. Let's be able to engage with our audience. That's really what I would say about what we're doing with the Amplify Impact offering and strategy.
Yes, and hopefully, for those on there, and I know you guys will definitely check it out. Check out our community catalyst. That's always growing. There's opportunities for that. We're looking for more community catalysts come in, leaders in their space, people who are really interested in leading the impact and being mentors and sharing within a community space. I think those are all going to be really big. And to your point, Jeff. We're not trying to do things like everybody else is trying to do things. That is the one thing about this. We are disrupting this space in here. We're disrupting how we come about. We're disrupting how, businesses are successful. We're making it more like a community where, you can't do anything alone. So now, as part of One2Gration, you feel like you have this community resources that are coming alongside you and supporting you in a way that you would not be supported otherwise. And so I think that is one of the other big things about the amplify your impact and what comes with that, as well as elevation yourself. And I think that even feeds into grow your community, because outside of just businesses and self, I think it's really important to recognize that there are other people out there that are nonprofits, community leaders that need the same resources. And something else that really propelled me to decide to work with you is the fact that you have the People's Plug, and that the whole idea of People's Plug is to be a resource for nonprofits and to provide them the strategy and the support they need to grow in whatever their purpose is. And I think that's something major, because there's a lot of people out there with visions of helping, but they don't have the resources and support to do it.
I started out with all of this, and the vision was really close to what the People's Plug is. And so as I started to think about most challenging times, I was sitting there with, this thing they told me I had, PTSD, and, I was trying to figure out what that meant. I'm still learning that. But knowing that I would have to relearn how to succeed, it was really in that moment I started to think about, okay, well, and we'll talk about this with Jason Santiago, one of our community catalysts. What is PTSD? I think that it's not well understood at all. And so Jason, former Marine helicopter pilot, will have some conversations about that. But as I read, it talked about what it takes to overcome PTSD or something like that. And there's all these different perspectives about it. And I even tried to go out and attempt to go into the types of spaces that trigger me. And I mean, I would find myself having these panic attacks on the way driving on the highway. Like, it just really wasn't comfortable. And so, I sat and I thought about, well, if I've been given all of these experiences, this is what I hear Chadwick Boseman saying at the Howard commencement speech. And he's saying that those experiences or jobs were just to prepare me for my purpose. And obviously, if I'm broken with PTSD from a job, then that means that that's not my purpose. then what is my purpose? And when I turned to start thinking about that, and I started to think about, well, he said all of those experiences have been given to me so that I could do something with them. It actually reminded me to a conversation that I had earlier on in my career, where there was a mentor that was saying that he chose jobs based off of the skills that he would acquire in those jobs. And so that's kind of how I chose jobs. And so I could put all of these skills and different experiences up. And I said, okay, well, if I have been given all of these experiences, and my job is to use them all to be able to achieve my purpose. And I believe that my purpose is to do whatever I feel most deeply about in my heart. Then I got to go out and help people. And so, with those set of skills, that's kind of how we grew from the People's Plug to now thinking about small and medium businesses, because there's so many people out there that it doesn't matter what type of tax relationship you have, the same resources are necessary. And this is a place over here where it gets
They are.
overlooked, but these are the people that are demonstrating the heart to serve. And so they should have the same resources,
Yep.
if not better, if we're ever going to make a difference in this world.
And I think that goes back to what, everybody, and this is where it's really exciting, is working with people that have defined or understand their purpose, right? And Jeff, I always said that my purpose, or my vision for myself, has always been to align with other people in their purpose and help them fulfill their vision through storytelling, which is how I describe marketing. Marketing to me is literally a way to tell your story in a way that resonates with others. And so the fact that One2Gration is set up to be able to support people in their purpose, whatever that might be, and that we get to connect with them and work alongside them and see that growth is just what I think is going to be very inspiring over time. And I feel like the people, and I know the people that are going to resonate with this, are those that have something in them, like this feeling, like I could be doing more. Like there's more to what I'm doing right now. And those are the people that we really want to be a part of that. Those people that have this feeling inside them that maybe I am doing the 9 to 5, but there's still something else in me that says that this is not just what I'm meant for. So One2Gration is really bringing people together so that we all live in our purpose, so that all the stuff that we're doing and everything that we're working up towards is for this thing here, this one thing. Whether it's a nonprofit, whether it's a business, that's the one thing, like the people that we're working with, and as you guys get to see some of the interviews that we push out and the people that we talk to, and understanding their story and where they've come to get to where they are, that I think is going to be another
So
special
that
thing
is,
too
I
as
was
well.
wondering in this first episode of One2Gration Today, if we were going to share some of those people that we are working with. We're really excited about some. So, should I bring up our host page, or what do you think?
We should definitely bring up our host page and do a few shout outs as well, as well. So we can share our host page so you can see some of the people we're working with, and then add some others that we're
Fantastic.
really
Well, you
excited
access the
about.
host page by top tab menu, Community Catalyst, and now here we are, and these are the hosts that we are highlighting within One2Gration. So here we have, you may have seen before, or maybe seen around the internet social media algorithms, GW Sedberry. GW and I met, I want to say maybe a year and a half ago, right when he's popped up online talking about HBCUs and showing a bunch of interest in them. I reached out to him one Sunday morning, and we were on the phone for 2 hours, 15 minutes later. And we've just kept in contact, and he does this amazing work to bring visibilities to not only HBCUs, but also to American history. And so I admire that he can, just bear his naked story to show the evolution of what's possible when you have a heart that's filled with love. And so I look forward to, if you haven't met or heard of GW, I look forward to amplifying his impact, because what we see when we look at GW is someone that's actually doing the work. It's not words. It's not words. And so what we at One2Gration are about, and One2Gration Today, as I said before, is about showing who we are through our action. And then once you see the work, then you can look at the types of results, because we're here to actually make a difference. We'll be sharing those results because we want for other people to know that if you need help, then you have a place to go. All you got to do, we have a place on our website. You can just click a button and tell us what's up. We'll figure it out. We'll be in contact.
Or if you need business services or resources, you can always, contact us as well. We do business assessments. So we'll talk to you. We'll work with you. We'll figure out where there might be possible gaps and how we can support you in that and create customized solutions. So we have a lot of different types of packages that we can support you with. We can support you with your technology needs, any type of needs you might have. That's where our community catalyst comes in, or other people come in, our partnerships come in. So it is an all-in-one resource and platform from all those things. But yes, GW is amazing. Definitely one of our hosts within our platform that people can access in it. But let's talk about some of our other hosts and people too that we've engaged with.
I'll step back and I'll let you take and speak on Reagan.
So Reagan, I can't say enough about Reagan Jones. She's one of our, I would describe our NIL deals where we're working with her. The thing about it is that the most important thing to us is for allowing people to be authentically themselves. So when we're dealing with, engaging with people, whether it's an NIL deal or a business, our goal is to be able to showcase them. And so with Reagan, she's very spiritual, Christian based, Christ a believer. In addition to that, she's also very much into mental health, fashion, fitness. She is young. And so what we're doing is allowing Reagan to highlight all those things that she's interested in. Reagan's going to have her own podcast that she's going to go out with. There'll be sometimes her family members on there, other members on there. There'll be opportunities for us to build partnerships with other people that would be interested in working with Reagan. But she holds definitely a special place in my heart just because of her spirit and how she approaches life at such a young age. But more to come with Reagan, more to come with her podcast, more to come with opportunities for partnering with Reagan as well.
2024 Player of the Year.
Yes, we should have highlighted that. She's an all-star, all-American.
All-world volleyball.
Yes.
And also a Fiskite. Shout out Fisk University. I saw a hashtag today where it said Fiskites just do it better. And so, let's move on because we got more Fiskites. Liberty Mora. The other day I was just scrolling through the social media and then I just saw this video come up and it was Liberty on a beam and she was killing it. When it comes to what I've been most impressed with in working with Liberty is she can I don't want to say compartmentalize, but she knows when to have fun. She knows when to have business, and then she knows when to turn off. And she sets those boundaries. And then when you look at the way that she's at this age, thriving and flourishing in life, I would like to give all of my gifts and support, making sure that others have access to see this as an example. I have a daughter that is 9. And so if I can show her more of Liberty Mora, I think we're going to be going in the right direction. So that's what I would say about Liberty. What would you add to that?
Well, that I would add the fact that, she's going to be another one that you guys should be on the lookout for. We're going to have Unfiltered with Liberty and Aaliyah. So you guys will get to meet her in a second. Another podcast we're on. We're supporting people of all ages. And that's a beautiful thing is that, there is no you're never too early, nor are you too late to start to pursue your dreams, right? And so we're offering spaces for everyone to start to build their brand, their thought leadership, grow in whatever capacity they want. So that leads us into Aaliyah, another star gymnast that will be, working and talking along with, Leah, they'll be working together, podcasting together. We're really excited for what they're going to do because they're going to come in and shift some things up. and present things in a way that only they can present it, that's going to be relatable to their particular audience. But they're also going to be bringing on other type of people to their podcast as well and interview them. So really excited for that. I'm hoping that everybody starts to stay tuned to what these girls are going to bring.
What I'll say about Aaliyah, she is as cool as the other side of the pillow. She goes out
She
and nails
is.
it. And she goes out and nails it, and it's she reminds me of like almost like a young version of me, to where she's just, it's kind of like it's no problem, it's all good. It's like she really never gets worked up. I haven't seen her get worked up, and I'm looking forward to what I think the opportunity is to be able to offer these three. And if there's anyone else who feels like something like this would allow for you to build a brand, to manage your contacts and your relationships, to be able to keep them informed as to the happenings that you may have going on, or the merchandise that you may have for sale. And if those things sound attractive, we don't expect for you to understand the terminologies that we speak when we get into the kind of more operational, administrative conversations. And so I want to take this time to speak to that audience and say, it's okay that you don't know. We'll have Aaliyah, Reagan, and Liberty on, and we'll have them talk about what they've experienced in going down this path with us.
And while you guys are talking about that, I just wanted to highlight some other names we might want to name drop as well. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar. Diane Nash is one of our clients as well. We just are working out a deal, and I'm super excited because you guys will hear more from him. Braxton is his name. He has the Prestige Business Brokers. He's one of our clients. He'll be one of our earlier people on podcasts talking about what he's doing. So there's going to be a lot of conversations that are going on with different people. We were looking forward for you guys seeing it. There's going to be some webinars for you guys to participate in, so much more. So we'll definitely want you guys to stay tuned. But yeah, Jeff, if you have something to share, go ahead and share it. Okay, Jeff. So, we mentioned our hosts. We really like to talk about some of the clients that we're working with as well. One I want to shout out to is Diane Nash. We're working with her on some marketing and some messaging. So really excited about that opportunity. Another one is our buddy Braxton, who you guys will actually meet probably next week, where we're going to talk about more about his business, Prestige Business Brokers, and what he's doing in that space. So you'll get to learn more about him. So, but while we're doing this, why don't you show a little bit more about Unfiltered with Liberty and Leah, and so that they can kind of see some of the stuff that they have to look forward to.
That is what is happening that we can share today with the Unfiltered with Aaliyah and Liberty podcast. We're looking forward to that. There are always going to be challenges. You and I were talking about this last night, resilience. And this is, One2Gration. That's one of the key themes. I'm an artist as well. And so when I create, I've had this practice of creating daily for 4 years. And what that, in my mind, what that shows is that resilience of being able to say, regardless of the challenges, regardless of the darkness, regardless of the things that happen that may seem unfair, if that happened, it was meant to happen for me, for the betterment of me. And even when I don't see it and I don't feel it, I know it. And so, this theme of resilience is something that I definitely want to make sure that, as we tell our stories and we share the way that, we as One2Gration support others that may be a victim, or they may just be needing resources. We're able to be somewhat of a guide towards the right resource if it's not us. And so resilience is a key thing that I think that I want to make sure that I highlight for our audience today?
Well, resilience, you were right. Last night we were talking about resilience, importance of resilience. And that has been, I guess, something, not even, say that it's been something that we've seen multiple times in the people that we talk to. So the people we're talking to, as far as the nonprofits, every single person that we've engaged with has a story of resilience. I think that's another amazing aspect of it. So you're right. Regardless of the technical, regardless of that, we're moving forward with everything that we have. There's so much that we're doing. There's so much that you guys will start to see that'll come out from One2Gration. We know that we're going to build a community of others. And so we're ready for you guys to come join this community. So check out the website. Contact us if you have any questions. We're always available for it. Yes, we're one community, one purpose, One2Gration, and we look forward to hearing more from you guys. So thank you.
Until next episode, I am Jeff McKinney.
And I'm Shaquita.
This has been One2Gration Today. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks. Bye.